Welcome back to the 5-Day Amazon Ad Profit Challenge, sponsored by Amazon Ad School. I hope you had a nice weekend. I'm very excited to share today's material with you. We are going to be talking about profit. How do you determine it? Where do you look? What do you compare what to in order to figure out the best possible feeling for, did you make money during the challenge? Could you make money in the future after running the ads from the challenge? We're going into that. We are also going to talk about variety in copywriting, how to create multiple versions of your ad copy in order to find the best possible fit. And later we will go into how that will impact your sales. So thanks again. Jump on into the video right now.
Here we go with video number 4, Mastering Profit, Sales Rank Evaluation, and Adding Copy Variety. A lot of authors have lost time, in my opinion, trying to attribute clicks from Amazon ads, or any type of ad really, to their sales. Unfortunately, as we showed in the last video, that tracking is faulty. I hope that video showed you that it was better to go in a different direction when it comes to figuring out your profit. The better able you are to determine that your ads are profitable based on just looking at royalties versus ad spend, the more able you are to do that, the more willing you are to do that, it's more likely you are to find long-term profit. If you notice your royalties are higher than your ad spend, you are running profitable ads. Period. End of story. Throw away the key. I think authors make it too complicated for themselves. It's kind of strange, folks who put together overarching plots for a living, making things too complicated. I've done it myself. But authors who make it more complicated than it needs to be are going to have a harder time scaling. And I don't necessarily mean scaling like making $1 million off of your ads. I mean making it so that you can go from $10 to $50, $50 to $100, $100 to $1,000, and so on. It all starts at the beginning, but getting Amazon to take more of your money and use it to getting profitable clicks, that is a challenge. But if you hold yourself back, that is going to keep you from getting to those higher numbers in the first place. In my opinion, organic sales are a myth. I always get pushback whenever I teach this stuff that you can't look at ad spend versus royalties. There's organic sales to factor in. I don't believe in sales that come from some untrackable, magical thing. I think that we need to focus on the numbers here. And Amazon's never going to tell us which random people that didn't come from an ad bought our book. Every sale of a book that you've ever had came from an action you took. Publishing the book, writing the book, an email you sent out, an ad, a blurb, a cover. They either came from that directly or they came from that indirectly. So you can never say that it was a fully organic, free-range, pasture-raised sale. Secondly, because we don't get those other numbers. We don't get the non-ad tracking, where did it come from, almost like a Google Analytics sort of thing where you can see where everybody came from your website. We don't get that. And so even if you're trying to factor in some percentage of organic sales, it's going to be a wild guess. Lastly, I have now been very fortunate, and thank you for being here yourself. I've been very fortunate to have thousands of authors try this strategy on for size. And I have seen who's had success, who hasn't, And the ones who have had the most success, who have scaled up by a factor of 10 or more, ignored organic sales and eventually saw higher royalties. When it comes down to it, if you'd rather have $250 in royalties without ads versus $250 in royalties with a $50 ad spend, you're going to be stuck at that $250. I would absolutely rather have the latter with less profit, because if I'm not running ads, I don't have control. I can't increase that $250 because it's some magical, organic, untraceable thing. And if you're like, well, my ad spend was only $2 and I made $250, and then you never really boost that amount ever, you say, I'm keeping my ads under $5 a month. Well, if I can get that rate, spend $50 and get $250, then I can spend $100 to see my royalties increase to around $500. I can see that 50 increase to 100, increase to 200 to get 1,000 in royalties. 400, 2,000 in royalties. 800 in ad spend, 4,000 in royalties, and so on. It's not easy to scale, and sometimes you may see, that 200 led to 800 instead. So it's not necessarily a perfect, beautiful math problem here, but we run ads to get more control over our royalties. And that gives us more control over our profit. If your royalties have been all over the place, $30, $300, $10, it's because, and you weren't running ads, it's because you didn't have control over it. But you can get more control when you run more ads. Now it's time to check the numbers. We've had our ads in the oven. They've been baking. They've been like a souffle, poofing up. And now we need to see, did we earn a profit? And it's not a guarantee that we earned a profit, certainly. I think a lot of you will not necessarily see a profit in that 1 week's worth of ads. But the good thing is, we don't have to guess. We don't have to feel our way through this. We're going to have numbers, real numbers that we can look at, that we can say, I spent this, I made this, here is my loss, or here is my profit. It's just cut and dry. Our data is going to tell us the story of exactly what to do next. And I'm going to go over today all of the options. What you should do next if you earn some money, what you should do next if you broke even, etc., etc. The most important stat is profit. It tops everything else. You don't even need to play around with half of the tools in your Amazon ad toolbox if you have a profit. If you spent 5 and you made 10, you're headed in the right direction. And it's not always going to be. Maybe the next $5 you spend will make you only $4. It's not necessarily a guarantee of profit forever. But if you made some profit now, you know it's possible. If you spent more than you earned, then you did have a loss. And that is also possible. And just because you had a loss now also doesn't mean Amazon ads don't work for you. It's giving you some helpful data that is going to help you decide what to do in the future. What is essential is that we get that data, we analyze it, and then we use it to make an educated decision. We need to know what is our situation in order to figure out what we should do next and why we should do it. But we also have to keep in mind our second most important stat. Our runner-up to profit is sales rank, especially if you have books in Kindle Unlimited or if you sell a fair number of paperbacks. Because of KU Borrows, royalties from your books that are exclusive with Amazon and KDP Select can be delayed because readers put the book on their Kindle and they don't read right away. So if the rank goes up, it means someone has put your KU book on the Kindle, or if you have paperback, it means someone has bought your paperback, but it hasn't shipped yet. So if your rank has improved, like from 200,000 to 50,000, you can see that future page reads, royalties, etc. may be on the way. Now, if you see a slight loss or you're break even on your profit, but your sales rank has improved in a significant way, do not change anything, because you are going to be able to estimate some additional income later on. Now, not everyone who puts the book on their Kindle is going to read it, but a lot of them do and will. You just have to factor that in. A reminder that even the Amazon ad rep I spoke with in November said, ignore ACoS. It is not a reliable statistic. And sales/orders on Amazon advertising don't always include all of the info, and sometimes they can include wrong info. So for the purposes of this wonderful profit calculation day, we're going to concentrate on dollars and cents. How much did we spend? How much did we earn? We are also going to talk today about taking our hook copy to another level. We've written some solid hook copy. We've created a second draft. Now, much like with your fiction or nonfiction, you would not publish that second attempt without another round of edits. But it's a little bit different than when you're writing your novel or your nonfiction. You're going to be creating multiple variations on your existing copy to try to come up with the best possible version. Now, in order to do this, we're going to have to talk about how to rephrase your hook so that you're not just tweaking one word here and one word there. We are going to make sure that you do this in the right way so that you have enough variety to really satisfy potential readers. Eventually, you will take those options and you are going to determine which version is the strongest through reader or other author feedback. Here's what you're going to learn today in video number 4, step-by-step process for assessing your profit and interpreting your sales rank. We are also going to tell you what you should do next, depending on how much you lost or earned during the challenge. We're also going to discuss how to come up with multiple versions of your awesome advertising hook and pick the best one. Here's what you're going to need: internet browser, spreadsheet, or text document. I'm pretty lazy, so I usually just use a text document. Calculator is going to help, whether it's on your computer or you have a TI-83 graphing calculator like I did in school. And you'll need as much time as this video is, plus 30 to 45 minutes to do the homework. As part of the prep work, video number 0, you figured out what your baseline royalties were for the month, this month, before you ran ads for the book that you're promoting. You got a number there. It was on your homework. You can hopefully go find that. And you will want to see, okay, that was $10. Okay, that was $0. Okay, that was $100. Now that you have that week worth of ads under your belt, you can see what your royalties are now. So maybe you had 10, now it's 20. You had 0, now it's 3. Or you had 0 and it's still 0. That can be possible as well. You're going to head back over there. We were having some troubles with the KDP Beta dashboard the day before I recorded this, but it's okay now. Check your current monthly royalties. So that's at kdpreports.amazon.com. You're going to check your royalties now. Then you're going to take that now number and subtract your baseline. If your number as of right this moment is 25 and your number before ads was 15, that means you have earned $10 in royalties during the challenge. And if that's so, congratulations, hat tip to you. That result is how much you earn. That is the royalties. Challenge royalties just during this week-long period. Now, if you have something like Reader Links or Book Report, you can do this a little bit easier, but I wanted to give you an option in case you don't have either of those tools. You are going to see how much you spent on ads. We learned in the last video where to find that information on your Amazon ad dashboard. So you go over there, make sure you have set the right dates for this event. So if you set your first ads on the 13th, you might go from the 13th to today in order to look at all of the right numbers. Then make sure you're only showing campaigns for the book that you're promoting. If you run ads to multiple books, it's not going to be helpful to look at your overall ad spend. You want to look at just your ad spend for that particular book. So for me, it would be TDS to look up The Dark Souls. Under the ad spend, at the top of the spreadsheet, so there's every campaign's data going down the page, but you want to look at the top of the page where you, not the top with the graph, but the top of the spreadsheet where you can see, oh, the total amount is $7, etc., etc. So we will show that in the screen share just in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you ran ads on Facebook or BookBub, or you had an email swap or a 99-cent deal, I recommend you factor those in too, because you will not get accurate numbers if you just leave out certain advertising expenses. And then we play a little bit of the greater than, less than game. Take your challenge royalties and your challenge ad spend and see which number is bigger. Is your challenge ad spend bigger than your royalties? It means you lost money. If your challenge royalties are bigger than your ad spend, it means you had a profit. That is awesome if you did have a profit. Even if it's $1, even if it's 10 cents, take it. Take the win. Pat yourself on the back. Do a victory lap, because getting that first bit of profit is the first step to success. If ad spend is bigger, you had a loss, but not everything is lost, as we're going to get into in just a second. If they are virtually the same, $10 in, $10 out, you broke even. Now, this is one of the only tests that matters when it comes to figuring out if your ads are working. Did you spend less money than you earned? That is the most important thing. People have been posting about, did I get enough impressions? What is my click-through rate? Very little of that matters beyond this comparison first. This is what you need to figure out first. This is profit. This is profit. I've talked to hundreds of authors who really emphasize other aspects of the ads rather than looking at this first initial profit comparison. And as a result, they looked at things like ACOS and said, my ACOS on this ad is bad, and then I turned it off, and then my pages read went down, and I lost money. I lost royalties as a result of turning off an ad where you looked at the wrong thing first. Look at your profit for your book as a whole. If you earned money, don't mess with your ads. That is 5-day challenge 101 here. Before you assess anything else about the book, about the series, about conversion rate, anything, know if you profited. This is so very essential. You're also going to want to check one other indicator. This is new for the challenge. We haven't talked about this before. But you're going to want to go to Author Central, just like we talked about in video 0, to see how your sales rank has changed during the challenge as well. And you want to look at your ebook sales rank and your paperback sales rank, because you might have seen a spike in either or. You could even, if you have an audiobook, look at your audiobook sales rank too. You gave a range in video 0's homework of the best to the worst. Maybe your sales rank was 40,000 to 200,000. Maybe your sales rank was 150,000 to 1,000,000. Doesn't matter. You gave that range. Now we want to look at what's the range from the first day you ran ads to today? Did it improve? Hopefully it did. Hopefully your ceiling is lower. Like if it was 40,000, hopefully your ceiling is higher rather. We don't want a lower ceiling. This is not a Star Wars trash compactor. We want our ceiling to be higher. So if it was 40,000 before, now 25,000, remember it's like golf. You want it to be lower. 25,000 and your floor to be lower, or to be higher as well. I'm getting all turned around here. But you want your range to be better. 40,000 to 200,000 is worse than 25,000 to 100,000 because you have a higher peak and a valley that is also higher. This kind of improvement would indicate that you're getting more sales or borrows than usual, and that is a very good thing. If your sales rank got worse, it could be random. It could be when you change your categories, your keywords. Sometimes Amazon treats that for your book as like restarting a computer. Sometimes it takes a second to readjust. It could be that you had a promotion in a previous month that is wearing off, but it is not likely that you turned on ads and your sales rank got worse because of the ads. That is not likely to have happened. It's not a correlation I would necessarily make. If you broke even or you are losing money, you do want to really evaluate that sales rank because it makes a huge difference. If you didn't see the profit, but you did see the sales rank get better, you are likely to see pages read, I don't know why it says pages rank, pages read or paperback sales come in during the next 1 to 3 weeks. And that could be enough to push you over into profit. Now, we can't say that everyone who borrows the book is going to read it. We can't say when they're going to read it. But even a slight improvement makes it worthwhile to avoid turning things off. If I see that, yes, I lost a little bit of money, but I'm seeing growth, I'm seeing something move that I had not yet seen before, then I am not going to mess with it. I am not going to play because I think I might get profit in the future and I don't want to accidentally turn off something that is sneakily working. If rank did not improve or it got worse, there are some other factors to consider to see if we can prove future profitability, especially if you write in a series. Because if you sold book 1 and you didn't sell enough of them to earn off the ads, you might make that money up on books 2 and 3 and so on. I basically just spoiled this whole slide, right? Unprofitable ads on the first book in a series can really be a moneymaker because if folks go on to read, a certain percentage of folks go on to read the rest of the series, then you will see more money than you see at first because you can factor that in. You can factor in the sales of the other books. After all, some readers who buy book 1 later go on to buy book 2, book 3, and so on some of the time. That is a percentage that when you have enough data, you can determine. As a result, an ad that seems to be losing money could lead to great profits on the later books of the series. There are some authors who write over 10 books in a series, and they can know if someone buys book 1, they can actually calculate, we're going to make over $20 on the rest of this series off these readers. And it's awesome to see that and to know that, and we will get to that. Determining read-through is a little bit complicated, but we're going to at least cover it a little bit during Tuesday's How to Scale Your Amazon Ads webinar. That is at 3 p.m. Eastern in GoToWebinar, and we'll go over read-through. If you do have that series, then break even or losing money on book 1 could be profitable eventually. But if you didn't turn a profit or you're nowhere close, do not lose hope. I'm going to show you my screen share of a profit calculation. Inside, I'll explain how your results should dictate what you do next. Now, if you did not see many stats, you might need a little more time. If your ads haven't served much so far, that's okay. Remember, sometimes only 30%, 20 to 30% of your ads even do anything in the first couple of weeks. It may take things a little bit of time to percolate. It may take Amazon a little bit of time to start showing your ad. But don't. I repeat, do not increase the bid. Because if you increase the bid, yes, you might get the ad to start showing more, but you're also going to reduce your chance at profit. And this is all about profit. This is the profit challenge. So I do not want you to increase your bid. If you're going to tweak anything, you can change the end date. You can shorten the campaign. That's why we started with those July 31st, or whatever month you're watching this in, August 31st, whatever. Change your end date to be a little shorter, or slightly raise the budget. If your budget was $5, maybe you would raise it to $6. For the most part, it's not going to be about tweaking individual things. It's not going to be about micromanaging. It's going to be about creating more ads. We are going to make more ads, and that is what's going to get those stats going. Other things to keep in mind. If you have audiobooks, these sales do not show up on your KDP Beta royalties, but they can be the result of the ad. So it's still important to factor those in. If you see audiobook sales go up or audio sales rank go up, then that is an indicator that things are headed in a good direction. Audible ACX doesn't show you those updated stats of how much you earned in this specific month. So what I recommend you do, you go to your last ACX royalty statement, average out how much you earn per copy, and then multiply the number of copies you've sold this month in order to figure out your earnings, your profit. If you've sold paperbacks, remember, you get a boost in sales rank when the purchase goes through. So you might not see those royalties show up right away on the KDP Beta report. So you're going to have to wait until that book ships, which can be a day or two, maybe even longer, when worldwide events such as the events of the spring would take place. That might be a reason to just wait it out and see what happens. Because if you see that sales rank boost, you are very, very on a paperback, you're very, very likely to see those royalties come in later. You may ask, can you please show me the money? Oh, it would be my pleasure to do so, of course. Here we are on our KDP Reports dashboard. Now, you will notice the dashboard is just for one day here on July 17th as I'm recording this. So if we're going to see our estimated royalties for the whole month, we want to go into the royalties estimator. So we click through there, and this is our whole month here, $22.33 for the whole month. If we look at our entire month for all of our ads, we can see that our entire spend was $968.69. Obviously, this number is bigger than that number as a whole. But what about for just the book that I was creating new ads on, The Dark Souls? Well, we see the spend of $15.19, and we can select books here by going deselect all. Then we put in Dark Souls. This is the paperback. This is the ebook. And so we have both of these in here. We see $8.78 is lower than $15.19. But for the purposes of the challenge, what is the difference here since we've created these ads? Now, I created these ads around the 8th. So I'm going to go the 8th to the 17th, but you would choose the 13th onward if you were doing this during the challenge. So we see a spend of $8.40. But this is showing us the whole month, so we actually need to do a little calculation. I had done, if you did your baseline calculation for the days before you created an ad, you would have that baseline calculation right up here. $2.14 is the baseline. So if we go and take our total July royalties of $878, and we do the math problem, $878 minus $214, we are going to see $664 for our challenge royalties. That is the number we would be comparing to our ad spend of $8.40. So we take $664, we subtract the ad spend. It's the royalties minus ad spend. $664, if I can do simple typing, minus $840 gets us that $1.76 loss. But we have a couple other things to check. We want to check what was our sales rank. If we look at our audiobook sales rank, not much doing here. If we look at our paperback sales rank, looks like we have a couple spikes here. So this is super interesting. We see a spike here on the 10th. And then if we go to just the paperback, we see the Dark Souls. We don't see that payment until the 12th. So we actually see the spike here in sales rank on the 10th, and then it didn't ship until the 12th, which is when we got paid. Now, here on the paperback, we see another spike here on the 16th. Here we are on the 17th. This has not yet showed up. We have not yet been paid for this paperback sale on the 16th. So we're going to kind of factor that in. And since I make about 58 cents off a paperback, we could say, okay, maybe expected 58 cents later. Now, that one we can calculate a little easier than some KU reads. Let's bring this back in here, and let's go take a look at our ebook edition. So we saw a couple spikes here. We created these ads here. We had a bit of a dip, but then we had a nice little spike here on the 12th. So you may want to go see, did I see a spike on the 12th? And it does look like we got a little bit of movement here on the 12th. If we wanted to go to KENP reads, which would be our KU reads, we would want to see, have we seen a spike on the 12th? And this has been acting a little finicky lately. But we're going to put in our Dark Souls books. We want to see a spike on the 12th. And we see movement. We had a KU download here. And we see some movement here. So it is possible that there's more to go. But it's possible we don't really have any other expected spikes here. We don't see too much else after then. We maybe see a little movement on the 15th and 16th here. So it's possible we could see more, but we don't really know. So that's not going to make up the full difference, perhaps. Maybe it's $1.18 or so. But this is the first book in a series. So if we put in Dark Souls here, Dark Souls, we have that. But if we were to think about, well, what if we put in book 2? We see a little bit of growth here. 19 cents from the telepath there. Then $1.54 here. We don't know if that came from people going in through book 1, but we can at least see, hey, during that time period, we broke even because that $1.50 gets us pretty much all the way there. If we put in book 3, we see an even bigger increase because we saw some movement on the 12th, on the 14th, 15th, 16th. If we put in book 4, we see that number grow. If we put in book 5, we see it grow a little more. If we put in book 6, So I think you get the idea here, because if you can get those numbers to increase, and then we'll just put in the final battle, we see an increase kind of across the board over here. We didn't just make $8. We made $5 that day, $3 that day, $1 that day, off the whole series. Now, this is a bit of an apples to oranges comparison, but I want you to keep in mind that on the Dark Souls this month, I spent $15. And on the series as a whole, I made $47. So, if you looked at just book 1, you wouldn't get the full picture. We need to look at everything to get a feel for, is this profitable in the moment? Could this be profitable in the future? Looking at your whole series and looking at your sales rank, these can be very, very good indicators of possible success. So we must keep those in mind. Let's talk about what to do based on the results we saw. First, if you lost money, double check that you selected the right dates. Double check that you didn't accidentally do any high bids. You want to make sure that the data you're looking at is accurate. Next, you want to evaluate how big of a loss was it. Because if you lose $10 or less, it might not really prove anything. It might be you don't have quite enough data to work with. Now, if you're in Kindle Unlimited, like I just showed in the screen share, you want to keep an eye on your sales rank. Did that improve? Is there more that you can expect later? You want to take a look at your pages read. Did those go up in conjunction with those sales rank boosts? If your book is the first in a series, then you could look at the next few weeks of book 2 sales and pages read, book 3 sales and pages read. Those next few weeks could turn your ads profitable. If after all that you say, Brian, I did all that, I looked at all that, there's no profit that could possibly come out of this, here is what I would recommend you do. If you've gotten 10 or fewer clicks overall, you'll want to create more ads. You need to keep creating ads. This can be in the form of keyword ads. If you've gotten more clicks than that, 10 to 50 clicks, you're still losing money. You can decrease your bid by a penny a day until you get to 25 to 30 cents. So go down from that 30 to 35 to the 25 to 30 range. Next, if you have gotten a fair number of clicks, if you've gotten 50 or more clicks, then you can decrease your bid by up to 2 cents a day until you get to 20 to 25 cents. And these actions, it's worth keeping in mind, these actions could slow your ads down. They could stop your ads from working, because sometimes if you bid too low, they don't go at all. But if you are going to drop your ad bid, it's best to do it by a penny or two a day. Now, rather than shutting these ads off, the reason I don't say shut the ads off is because we're hoping to turn these profitable, or at the least, we're hoping to gather enough data, 100 clicks, for one book, not per ad, for one book, to assess our book's conversion rate, which we're going to cover extensively in video number 5. What if you earned a small profit? Well, first of all, congrats. A small profit could be the start of something much bigger. An author, Pierre-Alex Jonty, posted in a popular Facebook group saying that his ROI, his return, is about 40% to 50%. So he puts out $1 and gets back $1.40, $1.50, but he spends $50,000 a month in ads, so he's getting $120,000 in sales. It's amazing what a small profit can do when you scale it up. The next step for you is to create more ads, particularly keyword ads, because there's only so many categories, and there's really no need to go too deep into creating multiple auto ads. I recommend you create 5 to 10 more ads per week. This is going to help you see if your small profit was a fluke or a wonderful sign of things to come. As in the case of a loss, KU pages read and read through of later books can actually add to that profit. If you've seen a profit just on book 1, but it's in a series, you could later on see even more profit. That small profit might turn into a significant profit later on. And I recommend, because it's really helpful to have 3 months of clean conversion rate data, keep track of your clicks, your sales rank, and your Kindle Unlimited full reads, people reading from the beginning of a KU book to the end of a KU book. We'll go into that more in video number 5, but keep track of your stats. What do you do if you earn a small profit? Create more ads, do more research on keywords to find potential keyword targets. So that is what we'll refer to as first generation ads, because you don't know if those keywords are going to work right out of the box. You're also going to start to look towards search terms. These are known as the targets that received clicks on your existing auto and category ads. These are warm targets that might have a better chance of serving if they are, or targets related to those targets, are grouped into their own ad. Now, this is not something you do right away. This is something you do in month 3 or 4. It's a second generation ad because you're using existing data to research new potential targets. And we're going to cover how to use this first, second, and third generation strategy more in Tuesday's scaling webinar, Tuesday at 3 p.m. What if you earned a big profit? Now, big profit is going to be different for different people, because if you are used to 0 and you get 10, 10 is a big profit. But if you're seeing way, way, way more royalties than usual, then you should follow the same steps as if you had a small profit. Create 5 to 10 more ads per week. And if royalties continue to grow and your profit margin remains steady, you are in fantastic shape. You want to be on the lookout for other potential targets, other sources of keywords, other also bots and targets to try, because you just want to keep throwing more ads, more profitable clicks at Amazon. If you have any other series or standalones, then it might be worth branching out to run campaigns on those as well. You don't just have to run on one book anymore if you're already seeing profit. Now, I would start by only promoting to your series entry points, like your book ones or your box sets. And if you write a series of standalones, you could try book 2 at least, but to keep clean numbers, it's going to be really helpful to focus on the series starters. So you will employ that same strategy as you would with a smaller profit by using new targets and refined targets, and the best of the best targets from your second generation ads will turn into third generation ads. Those are hot leads that you know will work extremely well. As you gather more targets from the successful and profitable ads, you're going to gather 1 to 3 months of clean data where you're not running Facebook ads or BookBub ads. You're not running a bunch of discount promos. You want to get the cleanest data possible, because you can use this information to determine your book's maximum bid. This is the most you can bid while staying profitable on your series or on your standalone. So the maximum bid is a concept that takes into account your conversion rate, your read through, your total series royalty, and it should only be used if you're earning more than $500 per month with your series. That's right, $500 profit per series in order to even think about something like a maximum bid. If you ignore me, you will lose money if you try to do it too soon. So there is really no situation in which you will run into dead end, nothing to try, nothing to play with. If you're losing money or you've broken even, drop your bids, check your conversion rate. You can wait or you pivot. If you determine after a few months that series isn't going to make money, you write something that will. It's no fun to have to do that. But if you gather the data and that's the direction it points in, that is still a path forward. Earning money. If you're earning money, if you have a profit, create more ads and assess your potential for scaling. So if you lose money, there's a way forward. If you earn money, there's a way forward. If you are stuck, it's not because you don't know the next step. The next steps are there. Lose money, try to decrease the bids, see if your conversion rate can get fixed up. Earning money, create more ads, assess the potential for scaling up. If you are stuck, it's not because you don't know the next step. It's because you don't feel like doing the next step. Because the next step might be hard. Because the next step might be a challenge. But if you aren't willing to do the next step, that's one thing. But don't say you're stuck because there's no path forward. There is always a path forward. Nobody said this was going to be easy. But I can honestly say that whatever your situation, there is a step you can take if you are willing to put in the effort. Let's talk more about copy. So we have learned so far that a strong hook is based off of a character's wants, obstacles, and consequences. What do they want? What's in their way? What's going to happen if they don't get what they want? So those consequences should be at the very highest possible stakes. Death, love, or enlightenment. If they aren't that far, you need to go farther. Additionally, we have discovered that we can increase our impact for our copy by trading down the number of words. If you rephrase something that's complex, or if you just play around with some different words from thesaurus.com, you can go from 8 to 6 or 6 to 4 and make things fit, but also make them stronger. And in the previous video, we found out that the last word should absolutely, positively be our strongest word or concept. Today, we are going to take all those things we've learned to create multiple versions of our powerful hook. So how do you write more than one? I know that more often than not, when I tell authors to write additional versions of a hook, they usually get frustrated because they already wrote one. Why do I need to write another one? But I think that this reaction to that situation is an improper application of your editing brain. Your editing brain should not be involved in this process. You need to use your first draft brain. In order to quickly and efficiently tap into your creativity, you need to turn off editor brain, turn off slow but sure fact check brain, and go into your speed draft brain. And when you treat copywriting like a word-by-word procedure, you lose out on the freedom that comes with the creative process. If you do this slowly but steadily, like the hunt and peck method of creativity, you are not going to come up with as strong copy. So you know how to personally set yourself up to write faster. You have done writing sprints, or you have meditated beforehand. You know your own process. So you likely know how to set yourself up to write faster first drafts. So I recommend you use the same techniques here. The easiest way to tweak your hook is to just change it around completely. Don't just change one word here and there. Oh, look at the presentation on this beautiful plate of copywriting. That is going to get you into editor brain. You want to change your sentence structure completely to force you to use different words. From there, you use thesaurus.com or your favorite resource, as well as your own brain, to come up with different ways of saying the very same thing. Lastly, you can try to get really creative and off the wall and wacky just to get your mind going in a different direction. So, here are some examples of fiction. Let's see all the different ways we can phrase this. John wants revenge for his wife's murder, but the bloodthirsty mafia plans to kill him first. Okay? So we have murder in there before a sentence break, but maybe we could go with some stronger words towards the end there. Plus, we just did one sentence. Let's try to split this into two sentences. Mobsters put her 6 feet underground. His revenge will come from above. Kind of have a nice little comparison from under to above. We have the word revenge in there, which is nice. So we played around. But, we did 2 sentences. Let's do 3 sentences. John's wife is dead. The mob pulled the trigger. Bullets go both ways. Doesn't really end with the death thing, but we played around. We tried it. Dead, trigger, ways. It's kind of fun. And plus, it's really personal. John's wife has passed away. Mobsters made John a widower. He'll make vengeance rain down from the sky. That's kind of a fun one with the vengeance there. And then, killers and lowlifes don't stand a chance against revenge. So, I don't know if any of those is the perfect addition here, but this is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to flex our brain a little bit. We had the 1 sentence. We had the 2 sentences. We had the 3 sentences. We played around with different ways of saying things. And then we went back to 1 sentence at the end. So mix it up. Switch it up. See what you can do. Nonfiction example. Do you want to knit but don't have any idea where to start? Open up your new one-stop resource for everything you'll ever need to know about knitting. A little bit long, so let's try cutting it down. Do you want to be part of the handcrafted revolution? Ooh, that's pretty epic. Discover an all-inclusive guide that takes you from your first stitch to knitting master. That's interesting. Going from knitting master at the end is kind of a strong one. Let's try one where we totally mix things up. Are you looking for a new handcrafted hobby? Learn the basics and much, much more from a masterful knitting instructor. I missed the period there. But you see, this is the same book, but we have gone all over the place in terms of specific phrasings throughout. Now, we're not going to go deeper into an example on this during the screen share, but I really recommend you just give yourself a document and let yourself play for a while to see what you can come up with. Use that first draft brain. Couple of pitfalls. Keep the first draft, keeping the editing brain away, Keeping the editing brain away. The pitfall is keeping first draft brain away. I get it, Brian. Sorry. Thinking about your copy like it's an editing project is going to get in your way. So get into the proper mindset. Do whatever you do for your writing sessions in order to get creative. Don't assume that once you come up with one, you're like, oh, Brian, I don't need to do 20. Number 3 is wonderful. Even when you think you've nailed it, it's best to just keep coming up with new ideas. Because what you think is the most well-written may not be the most likely to sell. And then lastly, just stopping too soon. I know this is hard, so it's easy to get discouraged and quit, but we recommend pushing through to get 5 to 10 versions created. Now, if you've struggled to write the copy or you've been having ads rejected, you can employ the no copy API. You can create a no copy ad by selecting standard instead of custom. We found that when ads are getting rejected, sometimes one without copy will get accepted. Now, this can be used for multi-book ads, but it can also be used for one-offs. It can also be used for just books that you do where you're targeting one product versus multiple products. And we have seen more relevancy and better results with ads that have copy, but it's available for you, especially if the ad copywriting has been a major struggle. Just something to keep in mind. Now, you may ask, how many ways, Brian, can you share your screen? Well, at least one. And to quote Lightning McQueen, I will say, ka-chow. So we're looking at what to do depending on how your ads performed. Now, if you are in the money loss situation, you are going to want to look at the possibility of decreasing your bids. Now, if you have a keyword ad, it can be a little complicated to do this, so I will show you. In order to look inside your campaign, you're going to click on this blue highlighted link with your campaign name. Once you get through there, you're going to go to the targeting tab for a keyword ad. Go to the targeting tab. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to see you have all sorts of keywords in here. Now, initially, your results per page will probably be set for 50 or 100. If it is set for 50 or 100, you won't necessarily get any beyond 100 if you have 100. Now, this is an older ad, which is why it has so many keywords in it. But if you go to even 300, it won't highlight everything. So if we click here in this select all button, we are going to select the first 300, at which time you can say adjust bid, and I'm going to put this down to 39 cents or something. You click save, and you click OK afterwards. I don't actually want to change this one, so I'm not going to mess with it. But if you do that, that is only selecting the first page. So you'll need to go to the next page in order to select all, adjust bid, and set all of those right. If you have it set to 50 per page and you have over 100 keywords, you are going to have to do this on 3 separate pages. So that is where you would change your bid on a keyword ad. And then if you have a auto ad, it's a little simpler. You would go to your click on that hyperlink of your campaign, click on targeting. You have 4 sets to change here. You would select all, adjust bid, and change there. Click save, and then click OK. So that's on the auto ad. And then if we're going to change the category ad, let's go back to campaigns here. We'll go to SPC. This is why it's so helpful to name everything. So let's see what we've got here. I want to go by the one that started the most recently. And we have this one. So if we go, once again, we click on that hyperlink, we go to targeting. We just need to pick that one, or we can adjust the bid right over here to 34 cents. And then we'd go in each day and tap that down a little bit to see if we can still get clicks, because we still want to get 100 clicks on a book. We still want to get 100 clicks on a book. Now, if you have earned money, as when I accounted for the entire series, it looks like I am profitable, you would go and start creating more ads. So you would create more campaigns. And because there's only a limited number of categories and auto-targeteds, you would mostly be creating keyword ads. So you would continue to use the research. You would use things like Instant Data Scraper on Listopia. You would use things like manual keyword gathering. You could look at things like your also bots. If we scroll down here, your also reds. You could kind of follow the path. So if we have my best also read that isn't my own book is this Supervision book. So we go to Supervision. That's a really funny title, by the way. We go to Supervision, and then we look at their also reds. And we might see, oh, I didn't have this book, or this book, or this book, or this book, and use the manual keyword generation. You could also say, okay, I'm going to click on one of these. I'm going to see What categories is this in? Looks like it's in superhero science fiction. I'm going to go to superhero science fiction, which honestly is a little bit messed up because there's a bunch of weird books in there. I'm going to use Instant Data Scraper, and I'm going to gather. It'll only let you get about the first 50, but I'm going to gather all of these, and I am going to see here are the titles. So I'm going to gather those first 50. If you try to get the next 100, it won't. The next 50, it won't always let you. But you could do it one page at a time and get 50 keywords and edit those, and then you'll have more to try. You're only limited by the imagination. If you're making a profit, you need to create more ads, and you can do that by manual gathering. And you can do that by Instant Data Scraper. And on the Tuesday scaling webinar, we'll go into how to do it with second and third generation ads. If you look just at the tracked sales on the Amazon ad dashboard, if you look at things like ACOS, and you think that a certain percentage of your royalties come from organic sales, then it is easy to prove that Amazon ads don't work. It's easy to do. A lot of people have said, I saw it on my ads that I was running for this event, Amazon ads don't work. They don't work for me. They don't work for anybody. Amazon is just taking your money, etc., etc. But if you want to start earning a certain amount of royalties with a certain amount of ad spend, the scaling example, $250 without ad spend versus $250 with ad spend. If you want to start earning a certain amount of royalties, then in an effort to scale up both the ad spend and the royalties that you earn, then you need to look for small pieces of evidence to prove to yourself that the ads can work. Yes, I had a loss, but the sales rank looks like that might turn positive. Yes, I broke even, but it's the first book in a 5-book series, and other books their sales ranks seem to be improving too. You need to look for small pieces of evidence to prove that the ads can possibly work. Because if you look at your royalties versus your ad spend, it shows you your profit. A lot of other comparisons aren't very helpful for long-term profit gathering. You see your sales rank improve, that could mean people are borrowing on KU or getting your paperback. If it gets worse, maybe the ads aren't going to the right readers. Ignoring the other data, ignoring ACOS, ignoring tracked sales on the Amazon ad dashboard, ignoring that info that is not as helpful or that could actually hamper you by scaring you into stopping you from running these ads, it is not going to help your long-term profit. So it is best to look at your ads on a book-by-book level to see if individually you've got a profitable book. Did this book profit? Is this book have a chance of profit? Does this book lead to a series that will lead to profit? From there, you can focus your projects. You could focus on the series that is the most profitable or the book that is the most profitable and put your eggs into that basket. I want to remind you, this system is pretty ironclad. Create more and more ads. It's going to help you gather data. See which of your books is profitable with ads and which ones are not profitable with ads. The ones that are profitable, you keep running more ads on those, and then you edit and improve the sales pages of the ones that aren't profitable, which is what video 5 is all about, in order to turn those non-profitable books into profit. And then you just keep doing it. Then you just rinse and repeat. Then you just use the Amazon ads to continue to sell your books for you. Now, in the next video, we're going to talk about the fact that not all books are profitable right off the bat. But some can go from not profitable to becoming profitable when you improve your conversion rate. In the final video of the 5-day profit challenge, we're going to discuss how to make changes to your sales page to strengthen that conversion in an effort to try to get all of your books as profitable as they can be. This is often where authors drop off. Not necessarily during the challenge, but after. Because fixing up your conversion is hard work. But as I like to say, you're going to need to work hard at some point. So it might as well be now. You're going to have to work hard to be a successful author. And if this is your stop, if this is where you get off the bus and say, I'm not going to be a successful author, fine. But if you do want to be a successful author and you have books that are a loss when you advertise them, you need to do the hard work to fix them. A little bit of tough love there, but hopefully that's helpful. Video number 4, homework. It's time to do the math. Gather your royalties, gather your ad spend, gather your sales rank, and calculate your profit. So you take your book's baseline royalties that you collected on day 0, subtract that from the full month's number you see today. So if it was 20 minus 5, you get 15. Then you want to subtract your ad spend from those challenge royalties. Also, reassess your sales rank range, best to worst. Compare that range with the one you collected at the beginning of the challenge, 40,000 to 200,000 versus maybe 25,000 to 100,000. Did you profit? Did your sales rank improve? I want you to let the gang know with a Facebook post in the challenge group with the hashtag JulyVid4. And then please, please, oh please, give another author some kindness and generosity with a comment. Extra credit based on whether you earned a profit or a loss. What are your next steps based on what I said in this video? If you had a loss, what do you think could be holding your book back from selling? If you earned a profit, what is your plan to run more ads consistently? I want you to write down your answers, share them in a post with the hashtag JulyVid4EC1. And then give a virtual pat on the back to another author who has completed the same assignment. Video number 4, extra credit to, if you earned a profit, I'd like you to create 10 new keyword ads and take a screenshot. For those 10 ads, create some new hooks based on the instructions from the challenge as a whole. Trade down those words, use the strongest concepts. If you had a loss, take a look at the top 50 books in your category and assess if their titles and covers and blurbs are the same as yours or different from yours. And we'll get into understanding a little more about that in the next video. I'd like you to post, screenshot, and your copy and your findings in the Facebook group with a post called JulyVid4EC2 if you would like to create more than one version of the copy and have people vote on it, feel free. Now remember, commenting on someone else's post is part of the assignment, so go earn that extra credit. Give the apple to the teacher by mixing it up in the group. So we have one free video remaining in the 5-day Amazon Ad Profit Challenge. 1 day left. You will have free access to the videos and the Q&A sessions through Monday, July 27th. After that, you are going to need to be a part of Amazon Ad School to access that material. It's the only way to get lifetime access. And remember, we also do have our How to Scale Your Amazon Ads webinar. If you're watching this on Monday, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern is when that webinar will be. You should get a notification very soon. Now, to keep this content, you will need to be a part of Ad School. I know it's helpful to review videos like this to make sure the lessons really stick. And if you'd like to get that lifetime access so that you can go back and look at it every single time and participate in future premium challenges that are just for students, like my upcoming Amazon Ad Scaling Challenge, then make sure to order your copy of Amazon Ad School before the cart closes on the 27th. So Kathy McRae, a historical romance author, said, I began the Amazon Ad Challenge in April, and my book sales were at an all-time low. Today, I look at the royalties. Sales are 220% higher than they were the day I began the challenge. And now I actually enjoy checking on my Amazon ads, finding out what's working and what isn't. Amazon Ad School has given me the means and the ability to breathe life back into my business. So awesome, Kathy. I'm so glad you've had those results. And Kathy took the challenge and then decided to continue on with Ad School. So to join Ad School, you don't have to pay $1,300 to $2,500 a month to get someone to run Amazon ads for you. You can learn how to do it yourself for just 3 payments of $125 or 1 payment of $297. And remember, you can add a Best Page Forward book description and 10 Amazon ads that we will write for you for just $25 extra per month. So that'd be 3 payments of $150. So go to this link, sellingforauthors.com/July 20. The link is also in the post below to join hundreds of fellow authors in the program. What is it that makes a book profitable? Why do some books earn a higher return? Is there a way to tweak an existing book to go from unprofitable to profitable, or slightly profitable to very profitable? The answer is yes. It's all about improving your conversion rate, and that is what we are going to talk about in the next video. It'll be the topic for our 5th and final challenge video. I will also see you during the Q&A today at 3 p.m. Eastern, and during tomorrow's scaling webinar at 3 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. So thank you so much for being here. Let's go to the finish line, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. Tomorrow, on Tuesday, July 21st, we have the How to Scale Up Your Ads webinar at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you're registered for the challenge, you should already be registered. You'll be getting an email about it today and shortly before the class begins. Also, as a reminder, Amazon Ad School is open. You can instantly get access to everything we share here at sellingforauthors.com/July 20. The material here for the challenge will go down from public access on July 27th. So thanks again for watching. Go do that homework, and I will see you in the Facebook group for a live chat today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Take care.